right now, and for too short a time, Mitch Roschelle joins us. He's with Macrotrend Advisors, legendary at PwC. We're thrilled he could stop by to tell you why I can't afford any real estate anywhere. We looked at Wyoming yesterday because of Liz Cheney. Mitch, I couldn't afford, one, square foot out in Wyoming. It's boomed up so much. I want to go to the behavior of the moment in what you witness in real estate. Let's go all suburban in this strange thing about opening up schools. What will that do to our real estate dynamic?
Right now, Tom, the uncertainty, and in urban areas, roughly 40% of urban areas still haven't, laid claim to whether or not the schools will be open and in what form. That has parents in cities panicked about the fall school year, and they're racing to the suburbs, whether they be in California or suburban New York, where I am, and trying to gobble up anything so that they can get their kids into school. I've been talking to realtors across the country in suburbia and asking them, what's the #1 question that you're getting from would-be homebuyers? And they want to know exactly what the status of school openings are in that specific community. And if they're planning to be open, there are bids for those homes.
Here's a PwC-like question for you, Mitch Roschelle. If we get beyond this and we get a better pandemic, Midtown Manhattan and the Midtown Manhattans from sea to shining sea, they improve. What do the suburban newlyweds do? Do they come back to the city?
I don't think so. If you look at history, Tom, the American dream of the white picket fence and the 2-point whatever cars and the 2-point whatever kids, I think that that's been around for generations, and I think it was inevitable. We were already seeing the trend of young professionals moving to the suburbs. All this did was hyper accelerate that trend. So I don't think that they turn around, sell their house in the burbs, and run back to the city. I think they're here to stay.
What dynamic do you see in Florida and the many Floridas of America, just the places where people are choosing to go to, the emotion of sun, taxes, and the rest of it?
Right now, it's certainly taxes. It's definitely weather. Weather may change when we start naming storms with letters, and I think that may, scare some potential buyers. But it's literally the killing fields down there. If you are trying to buy a home, there are bidders from across the country, sight unseen, putting bids in, waiving mortgage contingencies, waiving inspection contingencies. It's really, really brutal, and we're seeing 30% price increases year over year. I'm actually looking down there in Florida. I think I reported with you from Florida months ago, and it's absolutely positively brutal. And what's happening is they're emboldening sellers to make ridiculous requests because they're getting them. There's a bid for an ask and an ask for a bid. So it is kind of crazy down there. And unless the state and local deduction gets brought back or the limitation gets cut back, we're going to see that trend continue.
In Peoria, area code 61603. We always talk about these elite places. I'm looking at 5 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2,600 square feet for $75,000 in Peoria, and it's got a white picket fence. I mean, what does all this mumbo jumbo mean, Mitch Roschelle, for the Peorias of America?
I think what's the interesting phenomena here, Tom, is since there is so little supply of homes, I don't care if it's Peoria or Westchester County where I live, if you are a seller, you're going to get your price. So the problem is there just aren't enough sellers because sellers are panicked that if they put their home on the market, they can't find what to buy. So from Peoria to Pittsburgh, I was looking for some alliteration there.
You're working. It's going great, Mitch. It's going great.
This housing market is like nothing I've seen before.
It's like nothing you've seen before, but what does it mean for business? I mean, we make a joke about it, folks, but this is serious stuff. Everybody's moving from L.A., you name the 3 cities, Mitch, where they're moving businesses and small businesses and entrepreneurial spirit from, say, L.A., San Francisco to here, or from Miami to here, or New York to here. Do that, and good morning in Illinois, 61603. But did the Peorias win? Does the business go with them to those many, many cities?
I would say if we were having this conversation in 2019, I would say that jobs chase people, not the other way around. And I think there will come a time when that happens again. Labor force dynamics are going to dictate. So I think there will be some element of remote work. I don't know what percent of work in office jobs will be remote, but I do think that we're going to see a migration of businesses around the country like we hadn't in the past. Having said that, I do think there's something very compelling about urban areas. And when the dust settles, every year there's a new crop of kids graduating from college, and they want to live in cities, not the suburbs where they grew up. So if the labor force is in cities because kids want to live there, jobs will chase those people, and we'll have jobs in the cities too.
And we digress on Bloomberg Radio and Bloomberg Television for the observation of the week. Mitch Roschelle, I mean, I'm not read in on this too much, but selected mayoral candidates of a selected big city were asked what a man's costs in Brooklyn, New York. Even I would have done better than they did. Are our elites that clueless about how everything's gone up?
Yes. Based upon that Q&A and the numbers that were thrown out there, some of them are trying to walk those things back. But yes, I think they were missing a comma or a zero on some of the answers we got. And I do think that making the rent payment, finding a down payment, making a mortgage payment, all of those sort of pedestrian things, I do think that some of our elected officials are a bit clueless about that.
I got to leave it there. I got like 8 more questions, Mitch. We got to do this again. Let's do it from Peoria. We talk about remotes from Rome, remotes from Milan. Forget about that. John and I are going to do a remote from Peoria. I've never been there.